Manchester United just lost to Newcastle United. Then they struggled to break down West Ham United. Two games that exposed the same problem. And now the pressure is growing on Manchester United to finally decide who their next permanent manager should be. Should they trust Michael Carrick after his promising start? Should they chase one of Europe's brightest tactical minds like Julian Nagelsmann? Or go all in on a proven winner like Luis Enrique? Because the reality is this: the last few managerial decisions at Old Trafford haven't just gone wrong, they've set the club back years. And with football tactics evolving faster than ever, shaped by coaches like Pep Guardiola, United cannot afford to get this appointment wrong again. So today, we're breaking down every serious candidate, ranking them, and deciding who should actually become the next Manchester United manager. The obvious option. The most obvious place to start is Michael Carrick. Since stepping in for Ruben Amorim in January, Carrick has steadied the ship. The atmosphere around Old Trafford improved, the team looks more organized, and there have been genuine tactical improvements, especially in United's pressing structure. But the recent defeat to Newcastle and the draw with West Ham revealed the question Carrick still has to answer. Can his team control games? Because Manchester United don't just need to compete, they need to dominate, breaking down deep defensive blocks, creating chances when opponents sit back. That's the challenge that destroyed the momentum of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after his explosive start replacing Jose Mourinho, and it's the hurdle Carrick hasn't cleared yet. The "you might as well stick with Carrick" category. Interestingly, several managers linked with the United job face exactly the same question. Take Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace, or Andoni Iraola at AFC Bournemouth, or even Eddie Howe at Newcastle. All three are excellent coaches. All three have achieved impressive results, but most of their successes come when their teams control possession without the ball, pressing aggressively, winning transitions, punishing opponents on the break. That works brilliantly for clubs outside the elite, but Manchester United are expected to dominate possession in most games, which means these managers might not actually solve the problem United already have. So if the tactical philosophy is similar, United might as well just stick with Carrick. The tactical shift in modern football. To understand why, you have to look at what's happening tactically in football right now. For over a decade, the dominant approach was perfected by Pep Guardiola. His teams controlled possession high up the pitch, they pushed opponents deep, and patiently searched for the free player. But eventually, teams adapted. Aggressive pressing systems emerged. Player-to-player marking made it harder to find space, so a new tactical idea began to take hold. Instead of pushing opponents back, some teams started inviting pressure. They controlled possession deeper in the pitch, lured defenses forward, then attacked the space behind with quick combinations. One of the most famous coaches using this idea is Roberto De Zerbi. But interestingly, Carrick has already introduced similar concepts at Manchester United, which again raises the question: if United already have a manager implementing this tactical philosophy, does changing manager really make sense? The managers who probably don't fit. There's also a group of famous names who simply might not match the moment. Managers like Mauricio Pochettino or Diego Simeone built their reputations in a slightly different tactical era. Meanwhile, someone like Antonio Conte often requires a very specific squad to succeed, and given United's current squad profile, that fit may not be ideal. There's also the issue of formations. After the Ruben Amorim experiment, hiring another manager strongly associated with a back three system could be a difficult sell to supporters. The dream appointment. One manager many fans would instantly welcome is Luis Enrique. At FC Barcelona, he mastered positional dominance, but his evolution at Paris Saint-Germain has been even more interesting. His teams now use extremely rotational positional play. Players constantly change positions, defensive structures become difficult to track, and those tactics helped PSG win the Champions League in 2025. The only problem, Luis Enrique is under contract until 2027. Convincing him to leave Paris may be extremely difficult.
That leaves two managers who stand above the rest. The first is Xabi Alonso. Tactically brilliant, highly respected across Europe, but his playing history could tie him more closely to United's rivals than Old Trafford. Which brings us to the final candidate, and possibly the most exciting option of all, Julian Nagelsmann. In FC Bayern Munich, Nagelsmann experimented constantly. Sometimes his wingers moved inside to overload central areas. Sometimes they stayed wide to isolate defenders. Sometimes his team dominated possession. Sometimes they attacked space with speed. That tactical flexibility might be exactly what modern football now demands. Nagelsmann is still only 38, but he already has experience managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. And for Manchester United, that combination of innovation, adaptability, and experience might make him the smartest appointment possible, if they can convince him to take the job.